Hey, what's up guys, it's RTMGG Player back again for another vid. Today, this is more of a different vid. It's actually, you're kind of seeing me, hi. You can kind of see a little bit of my room. Well, I'm not going to do a face reveal yet. I just got this cam like a few days ago. You're not going to see my face yet. I'm planning on doing a face reveal at 50 subs. 50 subs going to be when I'm doing my face reveal, so. Yeah, because at 50 subs, I feel like there's a good amount of people that are actually going to care about me. So, that's when I feel like I'll reveal my face. But, for now, just keep it like this. So, this is a deck tech on Kadena Slinking Sorcerer. So, what she does is, it's a morph deck. Basically, the first face-time creature you play is free. It costs 3 less, basically meaning it's free. Unless they have things that make your spells cost more, like Arbiter and like God Pharaoh statue. And also, whenever a face-time creature enters the battlefield, you draw a card. That's very great. She basically just gives you anything you need. Creatures, ramp, card draw. You basically play a free 2/2, get a card. Like, that's stupid. Cause so like on turn 4 or 3, if you like play like a 2-mana like Signu or like a Rampant Growth, you play her, and then you also get a morph and draw card. So you basically put 5 power on the board and drew a card. Well, you basically put 5 power on the board for nothing. You didn't have to spend, because convenience from your command zone, so that's not a card from your hand. And then also, that morph replaces itself. So basically, you just put 5 power on the board, and every single turn you're going to put 2 more power on the board. Like, it's great. Well, first, actually, no, get rid of these. Let's talk about, where the hell are they? What the fuck happened here? There we go. Let's talk about how to win the game. So first, let's talk about the win cons. Brine Elemental and Vesuvian Shapeshifter. These cards are going to win you the game. First, Brine Elemental. This is a good opportunity to talk about Morph, the mechanic. So Morph basically means you can, well, the creature, it's on creature, but usually it's on a creature, but there's one card that's, it's in this deck. It's in this deck. That's not a creature. That's actually an enchantment instead of a creature. But usually morphs are creatures, unless they're manifested. But that's a different thing from morph. But I mean, they're kind of similar. So morph, you basically you pay this cost right here. You pay this cost here. This is 7 mana. I know it's kind of hard. I've been trying to get the angle to where it's like you can see it kind of clearly, but so it's 5 and 2 blue for a 4. It's 4 and 2 blue for a 5/4 and more with morph. So I can pay 3 or if Kadena free to put it face down, and your opponent doesn't know what this is. They just see it as a 2/2 creature. They don't know what it is. But then you can pay the morph cost to flip it face up. Now, usually the morphs are going to come with an ability when they turn face up. Some don't, but most of them will. Again, yeah, I have a few morphs that don't have abilities when they turn face up, but most of them will. So he says when he's turned face up, each opponent skips his or her next untap step. That's powerful, and that's why it's 7 mana. But the way you abuse this is with Vesuvian Shapeshifter. He is a 5 mana 0/0. It seems bad, but it says as it enters the battlefield or is turned face up, you may choose a nerd target creature on the battlefield, and if you do, it becomes a copy. Until Vesuvian Shapeshifter is turned face down, it's a copy of that. And then, but it has at the beginning of your upkeep, you may turn this creature face down. So basically, what you do, because the reason this works is because it says as Vesuvian Shapeshifter enters spell, as it enters or it flips up. So basically, as it's flipping, it sees it's targeting Brine Elemental. So when it's turned up, when the card officially turns up, it's Brine Elemental, so it's going to get the ability of Brine Elemental. So yeah, you do that, you skip their own tap step. Then, what you do is you on your upkeep, because of that ability it has, at the beginning of your upkeep, you turn the face down. So you do that, and then you pay the morph cost, flip it up, again, it's going to get the Brine Elemental effect, skipping their own tap step. Your upkeep, you flip this down again, pay 2, skip their own tap step, basically you lock them. They cannot tap, basically. Pretty much, this will just lock them out of the game. I was playing against one of my friend's younger brothers. He's getting into Magic. He's better now. But so basically what I did is I had Nyx Ancient, this stupid card right here. This card. Stupid. And I Cyclonic Rifted, which if you play Commander, you know what that does. And then I just did this combo, so like they had nothing on their board, and they're locked out on tapping. And the other dude we were playing with just conceded because he knew that they lost. But he didn't. He was like, well, can't we just keep playing more lands? But like, no, I'm just way ahead of you. And if you tap that land, it's tapped forever. Even if you eventually build up enough mana to disarm the combo, A, I'm probably enough counter magic, especially because I'm able to stay untapped. And B, even if you do, I'm already way ahead of you and you have way more value. So, and you have nothing on your board. So, like, yeah, you're fucked. Yeah. Let's see, I'm just going to leave Kadena here and these over here. Next up, Villainous Wealth. Another way to win the game. This card's stupid. This card by its own can just win a game. It's hard to see, but it's X and Sultai, sorcery. Target opponent exiles top X cards of his or her library, and you can play, and you can cast any number of non-land cards exiled this way that have converted red cost X or less, without paying their mana cost. It's stupid good. So if you get this if you put 10 in mana into X, you exile the top 10 cards of the library, and you can play anything that's non-land for 10 or less. Stupid card. Now the way you abuse it is with a card I was talking about, Nyx Ancient. It's 7 mana for 5/5 trample, and if you tap a permanent for mana, it produces 3 times that mana instead. So pretty much you just dump all your mana into this, and you can probably mill someone out, or just get all the cards in their deck, and then they just lose, because everyone just loses then. Next up we have Rite of Replication. It's basically, it combos with this. So you pay 9 mana, which you're going to easily be able to play with that. And then you put a token onto the battlefield that's a copy of that creature. And if you kicked it, you put 5 tokens. So basically, you're going to have 6 Nyx Ancients. Which, the thing is, it doesn't just add, it triples. Because it was 3 times that amount of mana. So pretty much, it triples your triple. So basically, you get all your lands tapped for 3 squared. No, 3 to the power of 6, which is 729. So all your lands are going to tap for 729 mana if they only produce 1 mana. That's only if they produce 1. If they produce 2 mana, that's like around 14k. 3, like 20, like that's stupid. Stupid. Legitimately stupid. And then, now I might be saying, well, I can only, that's great, but if I only have 1 Villainous Wealth, obviously, I can only kill 1 player. Well, that's where Primal Amulet comes into play. 4 mana for this artifact. Instant sorceries cost 1 less to cast, and whenever you cast an instant sorcery, put a charge counter, and when there's 4, you flip it up. Now, the first part's already good. It works well with the Villainous Wealth, because basically it lets me put 1 extra mana into it. So if I only have 13 mana, so I can only play the Sultai and 10 in text, I still get 11 because this reduces the cost, so I can make this go for 11. I was saying I meant to take Primal Amulet, because when it flips when you have 4 charge counters on it, it becomes Primal Wellspring, which taps for any 1 mana of any color. But mainly what it does is, if you spend this mana on an instant sorcery, it copies it. So basically, if you have that whole thing, you use that 729 mana on the Villainous Wealth, it makes 729 copies of Villainous Wealth, which is going to mill out everyone. And even if they counter the first Villainous Wealth initially, there's still 729 more copies of it. Like, so yeah, they're all dead. So, I feel like this is the more goofier way to win, but it's still powerful. This is definitely more consistent. It's only 2 cards you need. It's very good. And they're just 2 morphs. So that's the thing. They're not likely. These pieces aren't likely to get removed. It's just if you have them face down, no one's really gonna want to waste their removal on the morph. It's like, you don't know what it is. It can just be a creature that's not worth work. It could be a creature that's not worth anything. But if you see a Nyx Bloom, you're gonna be like, okay, kill that. Like, if you see Nyx Bloom, you're gonna want to kill it. But if you just see these morphs, you're like, that's nothing. Could be nothing. So, like, yeah, I think this is definitely the better combo, but this one's very fun and goofy, and I've gone people with it. Next up, Seaborn Muse. It's a 5-mana 2/4, but the main part is untap all permanents you control during each player's untap step. Pretty much half of Prophet of Crucifix, and even better, because Prophet, I think, only said lands. So, like, this is great. So, and Prophet of Crucifix is banned, so you know this card's powerful. I also love how this is getting reprinted in Collection Green, because I like the art on Collection Green more than this, because this is a human. It just has like a green trail around it. The other one looks like a nature sphere, actually, but this just looks like a human. Yeah. But basically, what you do with this is, you can also, if you combo with Leyline of Anticipation, you have Prophet of Crucifix right there. Just more mana, and in 2 cards, so it's more fragile. But also, it's great because what you can do is you can just, like, let's say, you have Kadena, and then you play Morphs. So you just tap out, you play Morphs, and then you have a Seaborn Muse out. You get to untap your lands. So then, you can actually pay the mana to use the abilities of your Morphs. So that's great. Being able to use your Morphs abilities even after you play them all. That's the thing, this deck's kind of mana hungry. It's like, you want to be playing your Morphs and you want to be flipping them up, so Seaborn Muse is just a great card. Except another key card. So these are all the key cards that are great. Thieving them out. This card can win the game. It's a dumb card. It's a 6/7, which is nothing to sneeze at. And at the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you manifest the top card of their library. Every single time on their upkeep, you get a 2/2 from them. So if you get a 2/2 from them, if you have Kadena, you draw a card. So you're drawing cards. And also, I don't even know why they needed to add this line of text. If a creature you control but don't own dies, its owner loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. That's stupid. And I've done things with Bolas's Citadel. Yeah, that's another card in this deck. It has the ability you can sack 10 permanents to make everyone lose 10 life. And if you sack the creatures that you manifested from them, they lose more life from that too. They lose 2 life per them. Oh yeah, same thing. And Seaborn Muse also abuses that. I've had like so many permanents. I was like, okay, tap Bolas's Citadel, sack 10 permanents, sack 10 permanents, deal 10. Untap, sack 10 permanents, deal 10. Yeah, I've done things with that too. Yeah, but this card's just dumb. And sometimes if you get like 3 to 4 rotations, that's like insane. You're like very ahead of everyone. And then Scroll of Fate, 3 mana. It taps. It's an artifact that taps to add. Well, no, not taps that. It taps to manifest a card from your hand. And this actually combos well with another card. I'll show you real quick. Trail of Mysteries. Whenever a face-down creature enters the battlefield under your control, you may search your library for a basic land and put it into your hand. So what you do is you play, let's say you have a land, you tap this, you manifest that land, because you can manifest any card. You search your library for a land with this, and then you draw a card. Then next time, and if you have Seaborn Muse, you can do this every turn. You tap it, you manifest that land, you get another land, you draw a card. And then you tap it, manifest the land, get another land. So basically, you're just turning all the lands you're getting from this trail. And Trail's already good with Kadena. Yeah, like if you have Kadena and Trail, like it's so good. Every morph you play is drawing you 2 cards, like getting you a land and any other random card. It's great. And also, Trail has another ability where, if a permanent you control's turn face up, if it's a creature, it gets +2/+2. That's also great. Pretty much, your morphs are now just get pumped. So another key card, Secret Plans. Face-down creatures get +0/+1, and if a permanent you control's turn face up, you draw a card. So that's great. First of all, your morphs are now 2/3s, it's just actually pretty big. And then also, face-down creatures, and then also when the permanents turn face up, you draw a card. That's insane. Every single time you're flipping up, like with Brian and Vesuvian, if every single time you're doing this combo, you're drawing a card. I've actually done something with Vesuvian, and another card called Ice Feather Haven, which basically you pay 3, morph it up, and then you get to return a creature to its owner's hand. Well, yeah, you get to return another creature to its owner's hand. So what I did was with Vesuvian, I was like, okay, copy the Ice Feather Haven, bounce to Ice Feather Haven. Oh yeah, play the Ice Feather Haven as a morph, draw a card, and also I drew a card off Secret Plans when I flipped that. Flip of the Ice Feather Haven, draw a card, bounce to Vesuvian, play this, draw a card off Kadena. Yeah, I was just able to get a lot of it. I can just get a lot of it. Like, if you're able to consistently reuse morphs, like, this card's just amazing. And there's also a lot of other ways to use morphs. Leadership Vacuum. Basically what it does is you pay 3, target player returns each commander they control from the battlefield to the command zone. You draw a card. That's great. Like, actually pretty great. So, this gets around Voltron commanders. That's why this dude, he's a Voltron commander. I don't know what his name is, but that's why he's on the art. Because basically, this is meant to just deal with Voltron commanders. Because if they have like a lot of equipment, but one of them's like Swiftfoot Boots or Lightning Greaves, where it has Shroud or Hexproof, you use this. Now you target them, and a lot of times people don't have things like the ley line, the white ley line that gives you Hexproof, or Teo, the uncommon planeswalker that gives you Hexproof. If you don't have those, I can target. Your creature might not be a valid target, but you are a valid target. So I can target you so that you have to bounce your commander. It's stupid because it targets the player. So that means if they have Hexproof or Shroud, this gets around it, and it replaces itself. Such a good card. Swan Song, pretty much just a stop. Lots of game-winning plays. Lots of them are instant sorceries, Expropriate, Time Warps like Clonic Rift. Those are the game-winning plays. So this just stops them right in their tracks, and it's only 1 blue. So if you're holding up 1 blue, you're not punished really. And they get a 2/2 burb, which is pretty good. Well, not good for you, but it doesn't matter. Like I would definitely counter Expropriate and give you a 2/2 instead. Sure, you'll keep pecking at me with it probably, but still. The card I was talking about, Ice Feather Haven. 2 mana, 2/2 flyer, and 1 in blue-green to morph it, and then when it's turned face up, you bounce another creature to its owner's hand. So like I said, it can combo well, and it's a flyer, so when you flip it up, you can just keep pecking your opponent with it. Bane of the Living, a great board wipe in the morph. X and black to morph it, and when it's turned face up, all creatures get -X. So basically, it also gets around a lot of things. It gets around everything, pretty much. Yeah, this is like one of the few cards. Like the best board wipes in the format are Toxic Delusions like Clonic Rift because there's nothing that can get around them. Heroic Intervention can't stop it. Hexproof and Indestructible cannot stop -X. They also can't stop everything getting bounced. The only card that can stop any of that is for Teferi's Protection. That's like the only card that can stop any of those board wipes and those board wipes are also good because they get around things like Gaddock Tea. Gaddock Tea makes so you can't play non-creatures that are 4 or more. So those, and Cyclonic Rift is a 2 mana, even though you are going to pay 7 for it. And Toxic is 3 mana. It's like legit, there's like no way to get around these type of cards. Like, it's so good. And then, alright. During Dynamo, it's 4 mana for a rock. It's just a pretty basic rock, everyone knows it. It taps for 3 colorless. It's just a good mana rock, gives you some mana, you know. Yeah, that's what you need to play the game. So, yeah. Obnixilis Reignited. This is a good card. A 5 mana for a 5 loyalty planeswalker. His +1 is draw a card, lose a life, so pretty standard black type of card. All black. Most black cards have this, like, how many ever cards you draw, you lose that much. Like draw 2, lose 2. Draw 3, lose 3. And his -3 destroys a creature, which is great. Having removal protects itself and also just gets rid of problematic things. And his -8, which I actually killed someone with before. It's targeted when it gets an emblem with whenever a player draws a card, you lose 2 life. So basically, you can kill someone very fast especially in this deck, because you're drawing so many cards, tons and tons of cards that, like, this can just, if you get that emblem, you can just kill someone. Growing Rights of Islamoc, pretty much a budget Gaia's Cradle, but still good. It's very close to it. I think Cradle's better just because it's a pure land, and this you have to take a little work to get it into Gaia's Cradle, but it's still good because when it enters the battlefield, you look at the top 4 cards, and you can reveal a creature from among them and put it in your hand. And if you have 4 or more creatures, it flips into Islamoc Cradle of the Sun, so Gaia's Cradle pretty much. But when it is flipped, it's actually better than Gaia's Cradle because Cradle only says tap, add a green mana for each creature you control, but this says you can just tap it for a green, which is good because if you have because if you don't have any creatures on your board, then Gaia's Cradle would not do anything. It won't tap for any mana because you have no creatures, but this at least can still tap for 1 always. Chromatic Lantern, just standard, more ramp. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much one of the best rocks for 3 color and up decks. A Flusterstorm, good counter, again, stops people who are just trying to go off. Survivalist deals with artifacts and enchantments when it's flipped up, because when it's flipped up, it can destroy an artifact or enchantment. Pretty good. Shamanic will draw you a bunch of cards in this deck, because I have drawn like 10 cards off this. It's 5 mana, just draw a card for each creature you control. Great card. And it also has Ferocious, but you don't really care about that too much. Mastermind's Acquisition, basically you don't care about the bottom part. What you care about is search your library for a card, put it in your hand, and shuffle your library. It's just basically Diabolic Tutor, and I'm only using it because I can't afford Vampiric, Demonic, or freaking Grim Tutor. Sadly, I haven't pulled a Grim Tutor. I would have loved to pull the Grim Tutor, but sadly I haven't. Cultivate, 3 mana, search your library, get 2 lands. I mean, it's basic. This is just a bread and butter green card. Gets you so much value. Garrett Huntsman, 5 mana. My friend thinks he's bad. I don't think he is. I think he's actually super good. You can 0 him, and you create 2/2 wolves with flat that are black and green. And if they die, he gets a loyalty. You put a loyalty on each Garrick Planeswalker. That's important. Even though I don't have any other Garricks, that's still important. If you're building like a Garrick tribal deck, he's also -3. Destroy target creature, draw a card, which is good. As -6, pretty much wins his game. You get an emblem with creatures you control get +3/+3 and trample. So pretty much permanent overrun, just stupid. Can pretty much always win you the game. Yeah, I even need to explain this card. Cyclonic Rift, stupid card. I honestly wouldn't mind if it was banned because of how stupid this card is. It really doesn't. It's just so stupid in our format. Again, do I really need to explain it? Just a staple card. Template Discovery. It's a risky card, but it can get you a lot. It's 4 mana, Tempting Offer. You search your library for any land, and then your opponents have the option to, but if they do search for a land, you get an additional land. So, it's pretty good. But the thing is, what people can do is they can just get, Strip Mine or, land destruction. Well, lands that destroy non-basic lands. So, basically, if you want to try to get, Dark Depths or, Orber Cabal Coffers, yeah. This card can be risky because if people sometimes people can just oh yeah, we're all just going to get Strip Mine. Yeah. So sometimes it can backfire a little. That's still good. Reality Shift. 2 mana, exile target creature. Then they may have to stop card. A removal spell, but also if one of your creatures is definitely going to die, you can just basically trade it for a manifest off the top and you get a card off Kadena. Treasure Map, this is a cool little utility value card. Well, not utility, it's just a little bit of a value card. 2 mana for an artifact, you can pay 1, tap it, scry 1, and then you put a landmark counter, and then when it has 3, it transforms, and you also get 3 treasures, and it becomes Treasure Cove, which taps for colors, or you can sacrifice a treasure to draw a card. So you see, this can be, at first, I mean, just pay 2 mana artifact, and that tap 1, scry 1. It's not bad. But when it flips, it's pretty good because it can either get you anything you need. It can get you more mana, or it can get you card advantage, whatever you need. Ingirix makes a great board wipe. It's 9 mana, but it destroys everything. All creatures and planeswalkers you don't control. Yeah, it's one-sided, which is pretty nuts. Ghastly Conscription. This card has won me the game, like a lot of times. 7 mana, exile all creature cards from target player's graveyard. In the face-down pile, shuffle that pile, then manifest the card. So you get to manifest all the creatures from their graveyard. It's so dumb. Well, from anyone's graveyard. It can be your graveyard if like you have a lot of morphs you want to replay. It can be their graveyard if they have like a lot of bombs that they have. And also, all the manifests that come in draw you a card. So, like, just keep that in mind. Any single time that a card is a morph or puts like a manifest in, it draws you a card. Just keep that in mind. It's just stupid. Vivian, Champion of the Wilds. This is a good card. 3 mana for 4 loyalty. Whenever creature you can cast creature spells though they have flash. So this is actually great because the way Kadena's worded is the first face down creature you play each turn. So that means if you had like flash with like Vivian or like Leyline or Vidalcan, you can play a morph on your opponent's turn for free every turn and draw a card. So basically, yeah, my turn, play a morph, draw a card. Your turn, play a morph, draw a card. Oh yeah, your turn, play a morph, draw a card. Your turn, play a morph, draw a card. Super great. But she also has other abilities. +1, you can give a creature vigilance and reach, so you can, I guess, block pesky flyers. And also -2, you get to look at the top 3 cards. You can get a creature. You can get any card from them. But then you can play a creature that you exiled with this ability, and you can play it. Oh, you have to cast it, but it's not free, but still pretty good. Willbender. This is a classic morph. When you think, what can that morph be? It's probably Willbender, and yeah, it is. It's always Willbender. Let me do something real quick. Click off. Okay. Yeah, so Willbender. Yeah, pay 2, morph it, and then when it's turn face up, you can change the ability of target spell or ability with a single target. So it's pretty good. Just disrupt. Another disruption card, Void Mage Prodigy. 2 blue for 2/1, sacrifice a wizard counter spell. I have tons and tons of wizards in this deck. Kadena herself is a wizard. There's plenty of other. Willbender's a wizard. Let me go through the wizards in the deck. Well, actually, I don't think we've seen them really. But there's a lot, trust me. Yeah, we haven't really seen them, except Willbender. But I'll point every single time one of them is a wizard. Oh, yeah. But yeah. And also has more for 1, which I'll probably do. But it's just a shield that protects you. Oh, here is a wizard, right here. Grimhair Specs. 3/2 for a... Well, 3 mana for a 3/2. More for black, and whenever another non-token creature you control dies, you draw a card. I think this is a pretty good card. A lot of black decks are like have sacrifice play this card because it's good, but most of they don't morph it. They just play as just a 3/2/3, a 3 mana 3/2 that does this. But my deck, yeah, I think you only want to really play this as a morph in just a Kadena deck. Other times, if you're just playing this in a deck because you have a lot of sacrifice, you just want to play it. I just have it because it's a good morph, and like in any case of a board wipe, you flip this up and you just draw a bunch of cards. Yeah, and it was the wizard. Oh, here's another wizard. Riptide Survivor. 2/1. Oh, I love this card a lot. It's 1 blue, and when it's turn face up, discard 2 cards, draw 3 cards. I mean, it doesn't seem that good, but I feel like if you have like Trail of Mysteries out and you've been drawing a bunch of lands, you can just pitch those lands and just get more cards. And or you just have useless cards. Like, it lets you just go deep through your deck and also just get rid of cards you don't need. And it's also a wizard. Oh, another wizard. Kahira Spell Snatcher. 3/3, but the main part is the morph for 6. And when it's turn face up, you counter target spell, and if that spell's countered this way, exile it, and then you can cast that spell for free without paying its mana cost. This is stupid. I've stolen Cyclonic Rift, Vorinclex. I've stolen like lots of things off of it. Explore Reality Sculptor, 3/4 for a face-down creature, gets +1/+1. No. It's also a wizard. No, I should point to that. Well, it's a 3-minute. It's a 3/4, and it says face-down creatures get +1/+1, and also you can pay 3 turn target face-down creature face-up. Funny story about this card. This card shot up a lot when this deck was. This came from the pre-con Faceless Menace. So, yeah, this card shot up a lot because when that deck was announced, like, oh, Ixidor, he's very good. I mean, he is. He's a very stupid card in this deck. Yeah, and people were like, and yeah, so I knew that, and like the week before, I pre-ordered it from my LGS, and the week before it came out, I think I was just going through binders trying to find some good morphs. And then, well, I saw him, and I was in the binder. I was like, "Hey, you should put this on like the display shelf because this card's like worth money." I was like, "Oh, thanks." The dude who was working there at the time. I'm actually very good friends with him. He helps me out a lot. And he was like, "Oh, yeah, just because you helped me and told me that, I'm gonna give you one of them." I was like, "Oh, thanks." And yeah, it's freaking great. Glad I have it. I didn't have to pay money for it because it's such a good card, and it shot up a lot unnecessarily, in my opinion. Because it's only right now good in one deck because, well, it's also good in the Animar version, but I think after Kadena, people don't really play the Animar version. I think Kadena is just better. Yes, Animar, you can get to a point where you can just dump a bunch of morphs out for free, but if you just dump your whole hand out and you don't have things like Primordial Sage, Beast Whisperer, or like things that make you draw a card when you play a creature, then you're just gonna be out of gas. And if someone after you do that, someone board wipes, you're dead. You lost all your things. Kadena at least replaces every time. Alright, Master of the Veil. 2/3, and you can morph him for 3. And when he's turned face up, you turn another target morph face down. So you can reuse a lot of morphs. And he's also a wizard. So he doesn't seem that good, but he is very good because like he is like very great. Like he can do like a lot of things. Alright. Void Mage Apprentice, so 1/1. And he is morph for 4, and when he's turn face up, counter start spell. It seems like it is inefficient. It is an inefficient way to counter a spell, but it's still just great. And I still can just easily just reuse him. He's just great. And is also a wizard. And so after I counter something, I can just act into Void Mage Prodigy. Counter more stuff. Another wizard. Misfire Weaver. See, I told you there's a lot of wizards in this deck. 3/1 flyer, which is pretty relevant, can start chipping in. As more for 3, and then when it's turn face up, to a creature you control gains hexproof, so protects all your pieces protects important pieces you need. So that's good. Pretty good card. Crumbshell Crab, 3/3, more for 5, and then when he's turned face up, you exchange control of a target creature you control with a creature an opponent controls. I've stolen commanders and it's just taken people out of the game because sometimes just people rely too much on their commanders. Sometimes they just rely too much, and it's like, if you just steal their commander, they're just like screwed. Yeah, like like one of my friends, he built a feather deck with no creatures. I'm like, if like someone plays like that, like one of those enchant, I forgot what it's called, but it's an enchantment in white that basically says, name a card, you can't play that card. That card can't be played. So pretty much if you just do that to him and use name's commander, he can't do anything because his whole deck is just instant sorceries for feather. I don't know why. You should at least put like things like Electrostatic Field, Young Pyromancer. You shouldn't put a lot of creatures, but you should put a good amount of them. Yeah, but this I've made people concede because of this card, because I just stolen their commander and just like, I'm out. Unthinking Bleb, it's a 1/3. It gets you a lot of value. More for 3, and then when it or another thing is turned face up, you scry 2. So, just get you a lot of value. A dumb card, Colossus Citadel. This card is stupid. Again, look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play that top card of your library for free by just paying life. You just pay life for just to play the top of your library. Like, if you can, like, you can do stupid things with this card. Actually, I've won just so many games off the power of it. It's stupid. Honestly, when I actually thought at first when this was announced it was gonna get banned because like this card looks stupid. In Commander, it's this you have 40 life to work with. You're gonna get so many cards. Oh yeah, and also, right guys, sacrifice 10 permanents. You gain. Everyone loses 10. It legit has everything you need to win. It will let you play a bunch of permanents, and you can sack them to just kill someone. Alright, Casualties of War, another 6-mana card. Pretty much just destroys one of everything. Artifact, creature, enchantment, land, planeswalker. Very versatile. This card can take people out of the game. Like if you're able to 5-for-1 them, they're out. If you're able to get all 5 of them, like most of the time you're gonna get 4. But I've gotten 5 a lot, but most of the time you will get 5. But I also have gone like 4, like maybe they didn't have a planeswalker or enchantment. But most of the time there's always definitely an artifact, a creature, and a land, definitely. Minimum's 3 pretty much. The minimum you're gonna get is 3. Like there's no way. There's certainly gonna be an artifact there. Sometimes there's gonna be enchantments and planeswalkers, but there's definitely always gonna be a land, obviously. Yeah. And there's guaranteed a good amount of times there's gonna be a creature. Deathmist Raptor, another good morph. 3/3 Death Touch, and when a permanent is turned face up, you can return Deathmist Raptor from your graveyard to the battlefield face up or face down. So you can put it face down to draw a card with Kadena, or you can just put it face up as an annoying blocker. And if it dies again, well then you can just bring it back. Gilded Lotus, just ramp card. Got nothing much, just 3 of any color. Rampagriff again. Just get any basic. Conqueror's Galleon, I love this card so much. It's like one of my pet cards. Crew 4, so I can crew this easily because I'm pretty much gonna always have a lot of morphs, so I can easily probably crew this. It's a 2/10, so it's not dying. And then when it attacks, exile at the end of combat, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. Well, under your control. Oh, no, yeah, under your control. And it becomes Conqueror's Foothold, which taps for colorless. Which you can tap it for colorless, or you can pay 2 tap it, draw a card, discard a card. Pay 4 tap it, draw a card, and then pay 6 and tap it to get a card from your graveyard to your hand. Now, you're not really going to use the 4 to draw a card. You're not really using the 4 to draw a card. Well, alright. Well, keep in mind you do have to tap this, so it's pretty much like tapping 3 to draw a card. 3 to draw a card and discard. Paying 5 to draw a card, and then paying 7 to get something back. Now, paying 7 seems like a lot. It is, but it's repeatable. And who's really gonna take it? Who's really gonna want to just destroy this? Who's really gonna waste their strip mine on this? Like people are gonna say like, oh, like that's so cute. Like you're paying 7 mana to get something back from your graveyard. They're not really gonna care too much, but really this card can get you a lot of value. Like I remember I tutored up a Leyline of the Void because 2 of my friends were playing graveyard decks, so I had Leyline at in that time. Right now I don't because they're not playing graveyard decks now. But when they did, I put Leyline in my deck just to deal with them. The black Leyline. I do have the blue Leyline still, but not the black one. Because the black one's only good for graveyard decks. And like I played it and he was like, oh yeah, I'll counter it. Okay. I was like, okay, I'll use that, get back my Leyline. I played it again, he countered it again. I was like, okay, pay 7, get it back. And then I think he might have countered it one more time or not, I don't know. But yeah, pretty much I did it and then just exiled. And then he just pretty much was out of the game. Because pretty much, unless you have a counter spell that exiles, I can just keep getting it back and just replaying it. Disallow. Stops anything. Pretty much anything. Yeah, it stops anything, pretty much. Unless it's uncounterable, then yeah, you stop anything. Counter spell activate with your trigger ability. Lightning Greaves. Equipped creature has Shroud and Haste, and it's equipped cost is 0 compared to Swift Foot Boots, which gives hexproof. Like, that 1 mana means a lot. You don't think it does, but it does. Like, just being able to play this for 2 mana and then slide it on for free instead of paying 2, tapping 1, and then equipping. It actually is a difference. The only reason I actually own a Swiftfoot, but I don't play in this deck because I don't target Kadena or any of my creatures really a lot. I have it in Braids because I do have lots of ways to target, and I'm just going to cheat it out anyway. My big thing, so I want to protect them up, and I will probably target them with like copy abilities and stuff. And also in my Geshaft deck, because I have a lot of pump and auras and equipment to put on my creatures, so having hexproof is worth it over the Shroud. But I still play Lightning Greaves. I think Lightning Greaves should go before a Swiftfoot Boots, but you can still play a Swiftfoot Boots. I just think Lightning Greaves is better. Midnight Clock. 3 mana for an artifact. You pay 1, tap it. You pay, and you can pay. Well, yeah, you can. No, you don't pay. You tap it to add a blue. You can pay 3 to put an hour counter, and then every upkeep you get. Every upkeep, not just yours. Every upkeep you get an hour counter on it, and when it has 12 or more hour counters on it, it flips. Well, no, it doesn't flip. Well, no, when the 12 counter is put on it, well, no, it doesn't say 12. So when the 12 counter is put on it, you exile it. You shuffle your hand and your graveyard into your library and draw 7 cards. It's stupid good. Like, this card can pretty much just reload you so well. Like, and the thing is, in Commander, it only takes 4 rotations of the table to flip it. No, why do I keep saying flip? To get the ability. It only takes 4 rotations of the table. If you're playing with 3 people, then it's 4. If you're playing 2, it's 6. But still. Like, 4 rotations of the table to freaking flip this. It's, like, stupid. In the 4-person Commander game, that card's, like, very great. Alright, some other morphs. Natuka Vigilante, pretty much the same thing as Inox Loretta, but it's worse. Because if like, let's say you want to flip it up as a blocker, it's like trade with something. Well, if, like, let's say no one else has an artifact or enchantment except you have to load up your own artifact and enchantment. Survivalist says the ones you don't control. So you could flip up Survivalist as a blocker and not worry about blowing up your own artifacts or enchantments. Also, he's 4 mana to cast regularly, whereas Inox is only 2. And also, Inox has Megamorph, which is actually better, because if you're able to flip up the morph face down and then flip it back up with Megamorph again, you get another counter. So it's better. Tainted Hermit basically just gives you a bunch of bodies. It gives you a bunch of 2/2s. It gives you 4 2/2s, basically. 4 2/2 Saprolings when you flip it up. Ixodron's pretty much a board wipe for the deck. As it enters the battlefield, all other creatures, you turn all other non-token face down. Turn all other non-token creatures face down. I don't know why they put, that's because it says turn all other. They could have just said when it enters the battle, turn all other, but they put as, I think maybe is like, because, so basically, as Ixodron's coming into play, so basically, when Ixodron hits play, all of them are already 2/2s. Just as it's hitting the battlefield, all of them are going to become 2/2s. So when it's finally on the board, they're all 2/2s already. Oh, I think they did the as part so it wouldn't die. Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense to me now. Because it's power and toughness is star, because its power and toughness are equal to the number of face-down creatures on the battlefield. So if it's when it enters the battlefield, turn all other things, it would die immediately, even after they're all flipped. So that's why. So it's great because when they're because they're not manifested, they're just turned down. They're not manifest, so they can't turn their creatures back up. But if your creatures have morph or megamorph, you can turn them back down. So you can, you can turn them face up. But since your opponents are not really gonna have your opponents aren't gonna have any morph or megamorph creatures, so they're just gonna get flipped, and they can't be used again. Den Protector, pretty much just want to use their. You don't care about the top part, which makes the creatures with power less can't block her. Pretty much just care about the part with 2 mana. When it's turn face up, you get a card from your graveyard back into your hand, so you just regrowth something pretty much. And it also has Megamorph, which is cool. Stratosator 2/1 flyer with Megamorph, so it can peck in a lot. Like all of these morphs with fire is actually good. I've just been able to like peck in at like Planeswalkers or them. They can chip in for a lot. All right, when Stratosator is turn face up, counter target insert sorcery spell. So basically, and it's also it's not. I don't know why this card's not a wizard. It should be a wizard, but whatever. But it counters an instant sorcery, so again, the game-winning cards like Expropriate, Time Warp, Cyclonic Rift. Leyline of Anticipation, actually kind of salty. I bought this card before it was reprinted, and that made me salty because I bought it for like $20 when I could have bought it for like $4. So that's kind of a dumb move on me. Well, it's not really dumb because I didn't know. If I knew it was going to get reprinted, obviously I would have. But like, no, I'm going to wait till the reprint to get more money. No, to not spend as much money, obviously. Whatever. So yeah. And also it has, well, basically, the point of all the ley lines is that if they're in your hand, they come into play. They come into play for free. And this one says you can cast non-land cards as though they had flash. So, very great. And with Seaborn Muse, you pretty much just play on every single person's turn. It's stupid. Ruthless Ripper. One of the few morphs that actually aren't mana required cost. Actually requires something else. So 1/1 Death Touch and morph. Reveal a black card in your hand. So yeah, to flip it, you should reveal a black card. So you don't even have to pay mana. So even if you're tapped out, you can still flip this up as long as you have a black card in your hand. And it's a 1/1 Death Touch, and when it's turn face up, target opponent loses 2 life. So it's just a neat little trick that you can use on them. I remember one time my friend was like, "Oh, yeah, you have any Death Touch?" I was like, and I had this face down, and I was like, "No, I don't." He's like, "Okay, attack." I was like, "Okay, flip up Ruthless Ripper, block." I was like, "Fuck you." And I was like, yeah, I didn't have a Death Touch until now. I just made a Death Toucher now. Know You, Narcissus Reversal. Yeah, this card's pretty much just Know You. Copy target instant sorcery, and then return to its owner's hand. Then you choose new targets for the copy. This card's great. Like again, oh, you're gonna expropriate or Time Warp or Cyclonic Rift? Yeah, no, I'm expropriating Time Warp or Cyclonic Rifting. Stupid, or just get you. And you're good. There's like so many great instant sorceries that would definitely take. Spark Double, pretty much just a copy Kadena because Spark Double says you can copy a creature, any creature, and it gets a +1 counter, or you can copy any creature Planeswalker, it gets a +1 or a loyalty counter, depending. And if it's legendary, the permanent you target's legendary, it's a non-legendary copy. So pretty much, if I copy Kadena, this copy of Kadena is not dying because it's not legendary. Yeah, and so every time you play Morph, you draw 2 cards. Get the Doom. Enchant creature has Death Touch and Indestructible, and it's Morph to you sacrifice another creature. So this is a pretty interesting card because it's not traditional Morph cost, and it's not a traditional Morph because most Morphs are creatures. So it's a pretty interesting design. And also, when it's turn face up, you can attach it to a creature. Obviously, they have to put it so it just doesn't turn face up and just go away. A very good card. You can easily just juke people. Like, just give Kadena. Yeah, I've had, like, Lightning Greaves and this on it. So it's use Indestructible Hexproof. So pretty much, there's not a lot of cards that can deal with her. You can, if you can see this mark, and it's because I accidentally made a Sharpie mark over it, and I'm pretty sad about it. Well, what Mugen does is, Colorless spells cost 2 less to cast. For loyalty, that's the main part. So basically, morphs are now 1 mana. So that's just stupid. But he does other cool things. You can destroy a permanent. You can store a permanent for -3. That's 1 or more color to removal. And also you can make creatures with this +1. You exile the top card of your library, and you make a 2/2 spirit. When that 2/2 spirit leaves the battlefield, you get that card to your hand you exiled. So great. Propaganda for pillow forwarding. Yeah, pretty much just they have to pay. Are you gonna pay 2 to attack me? I know, like it's like go to comment. I was like, you're gonna pay 2 to attack me. Like you're like, oh, I'm not attacking you, I guess. All right, now let's go into the lands. Okay, where the hell? Okay, so we have 7 islands, 5 forests. I am gonna need to find my. I do have the Theros lands. I'm pretty sure I have enough for the deck, but I just need to find them. They're in my collection somewhere. I have to go find them. 4 swamps. I'm proxying my Reliquary Tower now because I gave it away. I gave my Reliquary Tower away over the thing, before quarantine happened. I gave it to one of my friends who needed it, and now he has my Reliquary Tower. So yeah, Fabled Passage, but I'm just proxying it because I do own the card. Fabled Passage is great. It's basically just better Evolving Wilds. You sacrifice to get any basic, and if it's a non-basic, if you have 4 or more lands, it comes to play untapped. Aquanut, bounce land. Bounce lands are great. I love bounce lands. They pretty much just give you an extra card for free. Yeah, they come into play tapped. You bounce another land to your hand, but they tap for 2 mana. So pretty much, yeah, it pretty much just counts as an extra land. It's an extra card pretty much. Like, it's great. Next up is Exotic Orchard, which is super great. Sorry, I just had to do something real quick. Okay, so Exotic Orchard. This is a good card. Pretty much almost taps for anything because it adds a mana of a color your opponent could produce. So pretty much it'll add anything pretty much because most of the time your opponents are gonna have all your colors. Even if one opponent doesn't perfectly have them, your 3 opponents probably gonna have all your colors. So that's pretty good. Alpha Coast Ping land taps for colors and that's a green or blue if you take 1 damage. Jukenbog's a utility land. It comes to play tapped. It taps for black, but the main part is it exiles someone's graveyard, so graveyard hate. Sunken Hollow. Oh yeah, it comes into play untapped if you control 2 basic lands. Grove Chamber, bounce land for green blue. Linear Waste, ping land for black green. Thespian Stage, just a copy. You're pretty much gonna copy your bounce lands. Or like other utility lands. Alright. And then Golgari Rock Farm. Golgari Bounce Land. Temple of the False God. Yeah, sometimes this does suck. Because sometimes, yeah, I've seen where people just play this on turn 4 and they're like sad. But it happened to me like once or twice. But with Kadena, I'm drawing a bunch of cards. I always really hit my land drops. Hinterland Harbor. Check land. It comes into play if you have an island or a forest, so it checks if you have an island or forest. Command Tower, best land. Definitely, it's any of your colors, pretty much. It taps for any color you need. Like, it's great. Darkwater Catacombs, filter land. Taps for 1, and you can tap it to end a blue-black. And actually, cool thing about this card is with a Nyxboom Ancient. Because this produces 2 mana, so if you put 1 mana into this and tap it while you have Nyxboom, this land's going to produce 6 mana. So that's great. You just need to convert 1 mana into 6 with this card. Temple of Mystery. Enters battlefield, scry 1, and it also comes into play tapped, but still good. And taps for blue green. Gyre Sanitarium. I love this card. Everyone loves this card. 1 colorless. It taps for colorless, and you can pay to tap it. Each player draws a card, discard a card. So it's just group huggy. and then Opulent Palace, Triland, because Trilands are great. Well, anyways, I hope you all enjoyed that. That was a fun deck tech. I love this deck. This is my pride and soul right here, Kadena. I also just love it because people, when they first see this deck, they don't really think of much of it. They don't think it's really that powerful. But then after I keep playing them more and I just like beat them because my deck's sneaky, it's devious, and it's very good. They're like, okay, I understand. I need to kill you, and I need to stop. I need to slow you down, or else you're just gonna go run away with the game. Cause I'm just here. Oh, I'm just doing my cute little value things with my cute little morphs. But then yeah, I'm just gonna go combo off on you. Yeah. Well, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. Average MTG player out.